What is up, YouTube? This is AlphonZeus of Team Gradelock here with another episode of Team Gradelock Unlocks week. We're going to be going over the latest Cardfight Vanguard episode, Ride 165, as well as results from our local and any more news that we have from Team Gradelock to you, our subscribers. So let's get right into it. Ride 165. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode yet, please pause and close the video, go watch that episode, and then come back right here so we can discuss about it. Of course, if you don't want to do that, please click on the link in the description down below just to get to the results of our local. So, Ride 165 Legion. Now we get to finally see the anime premiere of the new mechanic known as Legion, and boy, it's actually pretty interesting to see it all come together. Now we start off with Kai and Misaki about to make it a card fight, and hopefully Kai can help remind Misaki about Aichi from before, and with Naoki sitting to the side and still afraid, calling her boss lady and stuff until she ends up just saying, okay, Miss Tokura, or at least, senpai. Now, this episode started off kind of strong. You just see the Seekers and the Regalia. You see them just start to fight and do all of that stuff. But then Kai reusing what he did in season 1 with the picture it or imagine it. And everybody's on the planet of Cray and you're all just battling it out. And it's been a while since I heard Kai talk about how we're just ethereal bodies, but yet we can attain so much more power. Get so much more powerful than that. And Naoki just kind of provides some sort of commentary, even though he's not the pro in the team at Vanguard. Yet his commentary was kind of alright given the certain situation. Because he's still really overwhelmed with the feeling that he forgot Aichi, the person that actually brought him up out of this juvenile delinquency, and brought him into actually a productive club. I guess you can call it productive, more productive than he was getting at getting the fistfights and stuff. At least from what we heard. Kind of like Tetsu in a way. But anyways, as the time we get to Ride to Grade 3, we have Misaki putting on Minerva already. Cross break ride, and you don't even have to worry about it, which, okay, I can see why you can do that. But with Kai, he brought in the whole flashback, and he was commenting on, just how the past episode has been starting off season 4. And see everybody just not forget Aichi, there's no Korin, no Ultra Rare. It's just, I guess more of a recap. But at least in Vanguard, it wasn't really much of a reintroduction to it, but at least you have the reintroduction of the tactics in episode or Ride 164. And I think that when Kai finally brought up, okay, who was the first person you played Cardfight Vanguard against? And you know how to play, is just say I haven't played anybody else in that game. And so she remembers she's playing some sort of person that of course is Aichi, but his face was just kind of darkened out because even her perfect memory, supposedly, doesn't remember who Aichi is. And she's been with him ever since season 1, which is the crazy part. Because, wow, that's a long history. And so, by the time we have Kai going on to his grade 3 in Wingal, that 11k base Vanguard for Royal Paladins. And now it's actually really good, unlike, Sanctuary Guard Dragon, where you have to form an entire deck around him. But of course, Seekers, you have to have an entire deck around them as well. Just that at least Ringo has a really good mechanic, and a new one at that, trying to refresh the scene of Vanguard. And just seeing how Minerva did that limit break, and Naoki, of course, was just like, oh my god, how can you do that? And then you took some of the cards you soul blasted or guarded with and just put them in the soul. And having a guaranteed restanding Vanguard for the next turn is pretty good, especially after the damage you dealt. But this Legion skill is just so crazy, because you don't even have to have the Legion card in hand for Royal Paladins. And I'm banging this table because, wow, it's that easy for Royals to do that because they just plus on the field. Apparently with the Seeker's Sacred Wingal, we have Legion where you don't need the limit break, so it seems like we're going back into season 1. Legion, which is pretty much, okay, if your opponent has a grade 3 or greater Vanguard only once, this unit may return 4 cards from your drop zone to the deck and search for your deck with the specified card and perform Legion. So, you can only perform this once, which is understandable because this is Legion we're talking about here. Can you imagine just putting back 4 cards from your drop zone to the deck and then search for the Legion? Shuffle it? Just, wow, are you serious? And then not only can you perform Legion, on top of that, when this unit performs Legion, you search your deck for up a grade 2 or greater card with Seeker in its card, and call it to your rear guard and shuffle your deck. Therefore, you just say, Legion, I'm going to put 4 cards back, and boom, you have Legion, and you have another unit. That's pretty good. Because now, after Legion, use Vanguard swings for like over 30k. Because, oh, okay, I'm going to join Blaster Blade and Wing all together. And we're going to make a complete broken column. And then we got a booster on top of that. That's so silly. Super silly. No limit break. No shenanigans by attacking rear guards anymore. It's just straight up, alright, you deal damage to me, I don't care. I'm going to Legion. I'm going to make it even more broken, just putting 4 cards back. And of course, if those are triggers, that'll be broken, but at least from what the locals say at Game On, they say, no, it's just 4 normal units. So just, alright, I can understand. So, as long as we got Seeker, this is going to be pretty good. And when all the memories start coming back to Misaki, when she sees that Blaster Blade, she finally remembers Aichi, which is good, because, you know, she has a crush on him. I don't support Aichi Misaki pairing. I'd rather support Aichi and Korin, with Misaki probably going for Miwa because he seems like a better match for her. Or at least a polar opposites match where they attract. Kind of. But at least you get to see the first Legion in the series. And then with the preview for the next episode, we get to see the Brawlers of Naoki. And then we get to see what their Legion skill is. It's probably going to be Retire Power. And it's going to be another broken column we can make with your Vanguard without having to worry about limit break or break riding or anything of the sort. Alright, that's it for the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If I missed anything in that episode that stood out to you, outside of just everybody calling each other mates, and it's mating season, or something like that, since it's now spring. But if you see anything else in the episode, just comment down below, get a conversation started. And now let's get right to the results of my local. Now, I wasn't there Thursday. I wasn't there Friday. But at least with spring break, I can try to go to more tournaments outside of doing all my school and project work. Now, at least the results I got from Alex, I'll actually pull them up right now. So, we have here, okay, 6 teams that entered on Friday's tournament. And there were 3 teams that topped, and, you know, they ended up, splitting due to time constraints. So we have Alex and Henry, CK and Vin, and Joe and Miguel. So I'm not sure what exactly they got, but or as in what decks they ran, but if someone can comment down below, just tell them, okay, so they ran these decks and how they feel about it. So it's still pretty good. And then on Saturday, that's where we had about 20 people, so it was top 8. I ran the Dimensional Robos of Dimension Police with 4 Die Kaisers. Yes, I bought 4 trial decks. I had to. I had the sleeves, I had everything in. I just need one more Great Dayusha, but I can't believe I have to drop like 20 bucks for it. Even more. So hopefully if I can just pull another Great Dayusha, hopefully, maybe we'll see what happens. Now, pretty much first round, it was a very diverse tournament, which is pretty good. There's maybe only no more than 2 people who are running kind of the same deck, with a lot of rogue decks thrown in there. The first round, I went up against Ian with MLB. I managed to beat him with Die Kaiser and use Die Kaiser's skill and, you know, get that damage on him and retire that perfect guard. Second round, I went up against Rob. He was running Silverthorn, Lukia Reverse, and he managed to beat me because he had the pluses. He had the soul because Irina and the starter, they just keep soul charging Silverthorn cards, and sometimes he did soul charge triggers, but still, he soul charged, you know, units that could have been called out using Reverse Lukia's skill. And then you have Miracle Pop Eva on top of that, which is crazy because now you get even more attacks in there. And that's pretty much what I want Eva to be like, because when I was running my Pale Moon deck before, it was just, you know, Barky Manicore. If I had Eva on top of that, I would have had a 21k column, put him in the soul, and then, you know, when she attacks, I just put these 2 in the soul and then swap them out for each other. Therefore, you have the same column. It's like a restand. So you have 4 full attacks that they have to deal with, which is pretty good. Although, maybe a couple of separate attacks is pretty good by itself as well. But we managed to go to game 3. It was pretty much a Gradelock situation for either of us, but he came out as the victor. Third round, I went up against Jason. He was running the Link Joker's Nebula Lord build, and he just locked me out. I just couldn't really mount an offense. I had Die Kaiser. It's just that in order to fully get past Die Kaiser, you have to Perfect Guard and drop 15k shield, or even a 10k shield on top. No, not even a 10k shield on top of that, because that guy's gonna get broke. Because with Great Die Kaiser or even Great Dayusha swinging for like 24 at least, or 23 at least, 21 at least if he's just swinging by himself, because he locked my Vanguard booster. I had to drop the Perfect Guard, so I had the Grade 3 to retire that, and then he put 2 10k shields on top of that, because okay, if I retire a 10k shield and retire a perfect guard, that thing is going through and he's taking 2 damage. But if he puts a 15k shield on top of that, that means he just got past it if I drive check 2 grade 3s. So it seems like that's like the tech if you want to go up against Daikaiser. You have to drop at least 4 cards from your hand in order to have no shenanigans happen with Daikaiser. And I love it because I've never seen someone actually drop 2 perfect guards on 1 attack. And with Daikaiser, if you change the game like that, that's awesome. But I lost against him because the lock was just too strong with Nebula Lords plus 6 plus 9k, and you have the rear guards that gain plus 2k for every locked unit. That's crazy, especially when every unit gets locked. So after I lost that round, 4th round I went up against Jenna. Yeah, I think it was Jenna or oh yeah. 4th round it was Jenna. She was running a Mon reverse. First game she decked out, and I put 2 to pass, and she hit the double crit, but that was the last trigger or card in her deck. Therefore, she decked out before she could even deal damage. Because once you get that final card, it's over. Game over. She decked out. 2nd round I won because of Daikaiser, and then 3rd round I had to win because of Daikaiser as well. It was just that pressure. The pressure was just a lot, and I just managed to at least get the right amount of cards to get out of her hand, so that means she has to worry more about the rear guard attacks that may have a critical on top of them. So I won that round. And then 5th round I went up against Joe, who had Shadow Paladin Revengers. First game it was pretty good. It went pretty much to game 3. And game 3 he was Gradelocked at 1 for 1 turn, although he did get the grade 2 and it became a legit match. It's just that things probably would have been different if he wasn't grade stuck for that 1 turn, because 1 turn can change almost anything. And therefore I managed to make it 3-2 with Dimensional Robos, 2 top 8, and then I faced off against Rob again, Pale Moon rematch. Hopefully I can take the crown, but in game 3 I was Gradelocked at 1 for a turn, and so I had to use the Superior Ride from Goyusha and minus myself pretty hard, so just so I can get to that grade 3. And the last drive check I had, I only had a perfect guard in hand, and I drove checked 2 grade 3s, and so I could only negate 1 attack, because by the time I was at grade 2 I was already at 4 damage, so I had to start guarding. And you know, he managed to beat me, went to top 4. The other people that made it to top 8 were Sean and Eric, Josh and crud, I'm trying to remember. It was Jason and CK. Jason, CK, Rob, myself, Sean and Eric, and trying to remember. Oh, Adam and Josh. And top 4 were Jason with Link Joker, Adam with I think Ancient Dragons, the Rob with Pale Moon, and Sean with Shadow Paladins. Then I went to top 2 with Shadow Paladins versus Pale Moon, where Avengers took it, and Sean actually was playing with an incomplete deck, but it pulled through for him. He got the triggers, he got everything that he needed to get the combos off and get that superior Persona ride on deck, and so good. So grats to him for winning his first tournament, at, like placing in first place, which is, you know, a really awesome feeling for anybody. And he got the 12 boosters. He pulled pretty broke. He pulled the 2 double rares for the Narukami combo as 2 draw, as well as another random double rare. But then he pulled a Valiant Sword reverse and an SP Dentalia and Dark Regular Break Ride. So that's actually pretty broken. Really good pulls there. And so after that, we actually went on to a Buddyfight tournament where there were 5 of us in there. Alex gave me his Danger World deck to use, and I didn't play Danger World at all. So I ended up going 1 and 2. 1 and 2 because I managed to get like the final phase going, although I think he would negate the attack. And then 2nd round I went up against Darius, who was playing Dragon World Gargantuan Punisher for game. And then round 3 I went up against Precise, and he beat me because he had the better field control, and I couldn't really do much about it. So those are how the results were. But at least for the first Buddyfight tournament, it's actually pretty good. I'm glad that we're really growing the Buddyfight audience, because it's just short. It's just really, really short, the games. And rounds only last for like 30 minutes. I'm surprised that some of those games did last longer than they used to. Probably just because they kept gaining life like crazy. Like, gain, and gain life. So, according to other news, pretty much now that we have another set coming up after the trial deck for this month out, It's going to be Oracle Think Tank Magus, and I am so excited. I'm trying to save up money for that because I want to buy, not only get my sneak peek so I can get my 4 Pentagonal Maguses, I want to buy boxes, then get perfect shields and hexagonal Maguses. I already have my hexagonal Magus sleeves, and I am just hyped for that deck. But of course, for now, I'll stick with the Dimensional Robos and kind of like see what deck am I ultimately going to use for the Team League. Because Team League, at least in Albany this May, it's going to really hinder upon if set 13 is allowed or not. Because that's where most of the meta is going to be. Because Chaos Mega Dragon just completely craps on reverse decks. Just completely craps on them. Because, oh god, this is another Soul Blast and Soul Blast and Soul Blast and draw. And, you know, it puts a lot of people at disadvantage, especially with, you know, especially when you have the Dark Dayusha, when you have to lock 2, and Valiant Sword Reverse, where you have to lock 2. It's really something. It's really awful. But I don't know. I'm still planning to pick up those 3. However, I do also want to pick up maybe a Dark Dimensional Robo or 2, maybe just to round out that grade 3 lineup, so I can 2 and 2. But also see if I can obtain a, how do I say, obtain a good variety of decks to use. I know that at least my team that I'm going to be going in with is going to be myself, Alex, and Jason, and then the other teams, I haven't really heard much from them yet. I just know it's Henry, Josh, CK, and then you have Ian, Darius, and I think Brendan. And I'm not sure what decks they're going to be running because they're keeping it to themselves in secret, so we're going to see what happens. I just know that at least Team Gradelock's going to be there in full force, so be on the lookout for that. And so far with both Cardfight Vanguard and Buddyfight, it's going to be good. And I'm going to bring over my Way Schwartz deck as well as my Buddyfight deck because they're going to have some side events. So just in case if we scrub out and we have to play something else, I have those decks on me. But it's just so far away, but I have so much time to just pick up the promos and get the Magus deck ready. Because I have the choice between either Bermuda Triangles, Dimension Police, or Oracle Think Tanks. Those top 3 decks, I don't know what to use, but you know what? We're going to see what happens. And that's it for this week's episode, guys. This is AlphonZeus of Team Gradelock for Team Gradelock Unlocks the Week. Be sure to check out the Casual Series match, as well as the bloopers we're going to be putting up tonight or tomorrow, depending on how I get these things done. But don't worry, expect it within the next 24 hours. And that's it for me. I'm your host, AlphonZeus. Take care. Team Gradelock out.